Welcome everybody. So this is the second part to the video, probably the most important part, and this is how to find Genesis whale addresses. So first of all, what is Genesis? Well, let's go back over here. 0x00000, it's going to keep repeating. Genesis essentially means the very first Ethereum address. This is the main Ethereum address, and the way you can tell is by the ether value. All right, so we have 4 million bucks in here. There's 8,400 Ethereum, and in the total token value of nearly 500 million. So this wallet at one point in time in 2018 was actually worth a lot more. So it was worth over $500,000. And currently, if the price of Ethereum and if the price of these tokens that are Ethereum based would rise, maybe in 2021, the total value of this might one day surpass $1 billion. And as you can see, there's constantly new transactions coming in, but nothing's coming out of the wallet. So it's all coming in. The only transactions that came out of the wallet that were from this wallet, well, that's in the very first block, the 0 block. Here is the 0 block, and you can see transaction hash. If it has Genesis, like every single one of these does, this was 1931 days ago and 4 hours. So this was back in 2015 on the 30th of July. That is right. So July 30th over here, all of these transactions currently, I'm on Etherscan and I made sure to show 100 records. So there's 89 pages of these. There's quite a few investors, so 100 times 89, that gives us 8,900 addresses to explore. And most of them have a few thousand Ethereum, maybe 500 Ethereum, 28 Ethereum. So let's go to this article. Back in July 2014 to September 2014, the price of Ethereum during the pre-sale, so before Ethereum was actually called Ethereum, back when the first version of the Ethereum protocol was called Frontier, early investors, the earliest of them all, were paying estimated around 0.3 to 0.45 USD for each Ethereum. So let's just say 30 cents for every ether. And we go back to block 0, let's say 14,000. 14,000 times 0.3, that gives us $4,200. So this is certainly not a whale, but to invest $4,200 back then in such an early project, these were most definitely wealthy people, because not everyone would just be throwing that much money into an unverified cryptocurrency project. And they also had to be very knowledgeable about cryptocurrency, because this was back in 2014, 2015, when crypto was still kind of sheltered from the world. So a lot of people believed in Bitcoin by this time, but Ethereum was just a brand new project. Now, Ethereum wanted to address a lot of Bitcoin's problems. That's why it's number 2 today. That's why a lot of people believe in it. That's why there's so many ERC20 tokens. But we are going to look around for some whales, and actually I already found some. Here's 38,800 Ethereum, here's 50,000 Ethereum, but let's go to already some that I found. This is just block 0, it's a single transaction, it's discussing the details of that transaction. Here is a wallet that received 254,908 Ethereum. So by this point in time, if it was purchased for 30, it's $76,472. If it was purchased for around 45 cents, that's over 114,700. With the current prices of Ethereum, and it's doing pretty well right now, up 4.14% at $464, that would bring the total, if this individual still kept on to that Ethereum, which in most of these cases, for most Genesis wallets, they have already done something with this Ethereum. So a lot of the early investors, they probably got back into Ethereum at one point in time, but a lot of them sold the Ethereum, so they already made profit when it was listed, because that's the case in many cryptocurrency projects and in many tech projects around the world. If you get in before the launch, you're going to get a better price, you're going to get a bulk deal, and if you make 2x, 3x, 4x your money within the first day of the launch, many people don't even want to risk it at that point. Because usually what happens, and what did happen with Ethereum, is the price goes down, there's a correction, and then in the long run you can make a lot more money, but they just don't want to stick around for those few days, weeks, months, maybe even years. They want to recover their investment, they want to make some profits and go on, move on to the next project. So this, if they held on to it, it would be worth $118.2 million. So this is definitely a whale over here. Here we have another address, 100,000 Ethereum. Here we have 100,000 Ethereum as well. This individual now has a lot of action. As you can see, these two, there wasn't much going on over here. This one had more. They were investing in DAO. And this one has 2 pages, so there's actually something going on. This one had 133,700. This one 200,000. This one 660,360. Now we saw that it went out to Kraken. And this was already in December 16, 2015. So there was a few months that passed by, almost a new year. And the same day, 2 large transactions went out. They did a test transaction over here probably, because compared to everything else, 5 Ethereum back then wasn't really worth much. So they just wanted to test it out. 660,360 times 30 cents. That would be 198,000 if at 45. That's $297,000 initial investment. And by the time they sold, you're actually able to click on this 300,000 itself would be at 99 Ethereum. This also was sold at 99 Ethereum. So just under $1. That would bring the total to $653,756. So they made a fair amount. They got out. There we go. As much as this is interesting and there's tons of addresses that you can go through, there wasn't much action going on. So I decided to check out the initial addresses from the article that we were discussing. I typed both in and I wanted to explore what was going on. And this is how you're going to be able to explore as well. All of the addresses that are being used, the main addresses that are being used, and the address for the Ethereum Genesis wallet will be linked down below. So you're able to do your own exploring because there's tons, like I said, 8,900 addresses that you're able to go through. Most of them got out of Ethereum and they probably made new addresses. There could be multimillionaires that have 100 addresses and we're not really ever sure who owns each address. We're just able to see what they're doing with their Ethereum. So I plugged in both of these addresses and this is where we are. So this one received 400,440 and this one 310,000 Ethereum. I actually found this one without having to plug this in. This was towards the very back. I think it was one of the last few pages. So this one had more transactions, but the first one was larger with 400,440. So what we do is we click on this, and in the article, this is going to lead us to this second address over here. Then we click another transaction, and that's where we're finally able to see what he's doing exactly with the hex. This brings us over here, and I had to scroll through because there's a lot of transactions. And here we have, for example, hex being bought, 2,100, 312. We see what's going on exactly as in the article. All of the hex buys, if you scroll past. For the second address, you're able to click on one of the top transactions. You see Uniswap, hex as well. So the first address is going to be a little bit more interesting here. We see Uniswap ESH. This was 179 days ago, so on the 5th month this year. If we go to the very first page, then we're able to see what is going on exactly 1 day ago. So this is still an active address. And see here we have Synthetics, Kyber DAO, Uniswap's being used, OMG Network, and we're able to follow this and see exactly what's going on. So what's interesting with Hex is you're able to see exactly if they're staking, for how long they're staking. Not every platform will have something like this. For Hex specifically, just as there is a whale alert, there's also a Hex whale, which tells us, hey, 5 hours ago, around $374,300 of Hex was just purchased. So we're able to click it. We're able to see from where it came, a total of 34 transactions, and the total token value of this wallet. Here we have an Ether value of 33,000, a total token value with Hex in here, $389,770. So if you wanted specifically for Hex, you're able to scroll through and you're able to see, hey, every single day there are some Hex whales. If you go to Whale Alert, you're able to find out what's going on with these extreme whales for Bitcoin and the top altcoins. If you had a lot of free time, you would be able to go through Etherscan and see, hey, This is exactly what's going on here. You're able to click, get a lot of time on your hands. You're able to see exactly what is being done, or at least estimate. And then if there's a new project that you've never seen before, you're able to explore that. Once you find a few good Genesis addresses, you just bookmark them. Check them out every few days. As we see, this activity is very, very recent. You go on Uniswap. You're also exploring some interesting projects there, seeing who are the biggest buyers. So it takes a lot of time. And I was curious, well, how did these articles in the first place, how did they get this information? How was it so easy for them to discover these addresses? Well, they use Chainalysis. So it is a paid service, Chainalysis, building trust in blockchain. We provide blockchain data and analysis to government agencies, exchanges, and financial institutions. So if you're a financial institution, you run an investment company, this would be very interesting for them to follow. But the data is out there, and that's the beauty of blockchain. You're able to discover it yourself. It's just going to take a while. So immediately you're going to ignore all of these smaller Genesis wallets. And even if you find something like, bam, 314,000, let's explore it. Oh, actually this one's pretty active. So there we go, we just hit jackpot. I was about to say that most likely this address isn't being used anymore, but looks like we found a lucky one. So in many cases, you're going to find something that's not being used, but the money went somewhere. It's not like it disappeared. So you have to follow the money, follow the next wallet. Probably that wallet's being used. If not, it went to another, a third wallet, maybe the fourth wallet. This one's being used, so we can see 15.1 Ethereum was sent 9 days ago. Where was it sent? Well, let's follow that. It was sent to this, where that's 243 transactions. Let's find out the last transaction. This wallet was made in 2018. So this could be a secondary wallet for this individual. We see just a lot of Ether. We don't see any tokens. So this individual might just have a lot of Ethereum wallets. They might not be interested in DeFi, or if they are, they have some specific wallets for that. So this Genesis wallet, when we go back, it has a balance of 13,700 Ethereum with a total Ethereum value of 6.3 million. And if we go into the tokens, we see a lot of these tokens. However, most of them are just, you don't have to worry about that. The only one that makes a difference is OMG Network with 83,000. However, that's still pretty small compared to what's going on. So maybe they have more wallets with more tokens on those other wallets. Like this wallet has no tokens. It's literally just Ethereum. And if we go down to the bottom, we see Genesis right there. So he's probably sending it to places to sell off part of that Ethereum, because we see all of these transactions, they're much, much smaller now. However, still, this is like $7,000, so it's not too small, but this individual certainly already sold most of his Ethereum. It is a time-consuming process, but you might find something that otherwise you wouldn't have been able to. So that is that. What's most interesting is that the Genesis wallet will keep growing. Here's an old Bitcoin article. 500 million has been mistakenly sent to Ethereum's Genesis address. So just don't make the mistake. It says all it takes is one fat finger on the 0 button and your ERC20 tokens are going there. Or if wallets weren't configured correctly, the default address would be there, and some people just weren't looking. Constantly, there's constant influxes of tokens as we see 0 Ethereum, so it's a lot of tokens. See 180 million of Bear Chain, DGD, Bytem, Arcade, Ions. I wonder why this one in particular had so much come in. Maybe it was a large transaction that screwed up. There were transactions where people have lost millions of dollars. So that's the end for today's video. Hopefully you learned something interesting. Keep your eye out. There's a bunch of Bitcoin wallets that have over 1,000 Bitcoin or even over 10,000 Bitcoin inside, but you won't get the full details of where the money's exactly going. In Etherscan, it tells you, all right, if this person's buying tokens, when did they buy these tokens, how much, what the value of them is today. So it helps you a little bit more than with Bitcoin addresses. In the future, though, some of these addresses might be privatized, so this information might not be as readily available as it is today. So make use of it.